friends, welcome back to my channel, Pages and Stitches. That's spelled pages, the number 3 stitches, both here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. My name is Kelly and I'm super excited to be bringing you my August Quilters Corner update. Today is September 2nd, Saturday, September 2nd, and this is going to be Quilters Corner update number 22, so it's going to be my August wrap up. If you are new here, welcome. I also film a floss tube in addition to all my quilting content. So if you are a cross stitcher as well as a quilter, feel free to go check out that part of my channel. I will have posted my floss tube update right before this. I do one floss tube and one Quilters Corner update every month. So floss tube number 22 will have just been published on my channel if you want to check that out. Let me start off by saying just a massive thank you to everybody who's here. I am trying to find all of the quilters kind of hidden out there in the YouTube world. The floss tube community is a little bit more prolific in terms of the number of people that are, you know, online looking for cross-stitching content. The quilters are out there. It's just we don't typically find quilting updates in the same style as the floss tube, so I feel like they're harder to come by. So all that to say, if you are here to look into this quilting content, if you are a regular viewer of my Quilters Corner updates, thank you so much for being here. You're my little needles in a haystack, and I'm glad that either you have found me or I have found you, and I hope that we can bring more people into our circle, because I know there's quilters out there. There's a bajillion of them in the universe. So I just so I wanted to make these quilting videos to reach out to them and share my quilting hobby with them as well. There are a couple of other quilters that I've come across that have their own quilting content. Two for sure that I know produce separate quilting videos from their floss tube videos. I've shouted out before, but of course I'll shout out again. That would be Laura of Lala D Stitches. She does Lala D's Quilting Bee. And then Amy of Fiber Arts Amy. She does quilting updates as well as her floss tube videos too. There's a bajillion other people who I know quilt, but they kind of lump their projects in with their floss tube videos. Corey from, her name is Corinne, but from Corey Creates, and Stephanie of Frala Knits, and Laurel of I Am a Stitch Nerd. I know all these people quilt. I know Alma of the Tattooed Reading Owl is starting to get into quilting too. She's showed a couple of quilting projects on her floss tube before. So they're out there. I gotta find them so I can rope them in and bring them into our quilting circle. Feel free to tag people that you know that like quilting in the comments and let me know who I can go check out. I've had some suggestions given to me before in the comments, and I go check out their channels. It's just that the quilting world is less frequented here on YouTube, and I want to change that. So if you're here, what I mean to say is thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you. And if you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a try and for investigating what you see here on the wall. I love quilting. It was my first love. I learned how to quilt before I learned how to cross stitch. My mom put a rotary cutter and a ruler in my hand when I was like 10, sat me in front of a sewing machine and said, "Swim, little one." And I haven't looked back. So quilting is what I'm here to share with you today. So let's start out as I normally do with a reading update. The pages of Pages and Stitches is representative of my third passion, which is reading. If you are here from my floss tube update, you can skip this part. It's the same books as per usual. So last month I said that I had started this book, but I'd only read like a couple of chapters, so I'm nixing it from last month and I'm calling it this month's read. And that was this book here. This is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is number 1 in this series that she has recently started. Book number 2 comes out soon. I'm so excited. So I highly recommend it. And then I picked up Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. Tessa Bailey's one of my favorite romance authors. She does contemporary romance and she's hilarious. And then the next 2 books I will insert pictures of. I read them on my Kindle app on my phone. The first one is Blaze by Gemma Weir. That's number 1 in a new series she's writing. And then the next one after that I read is called Power Play, which is a hockey romance book, and it's number 1 in that series. And Power Play was written by T.D. Colbert. Okay, so much like in my FlossTube video, Hef has felt the need to come say hi in this video. He gets noisy whenever I film. It's like he doesn't like the attention to not be on him. This is my cat Hef. He is a rescue baby. He's 15 years old, and he's very needy for attention and love. If you are new here, he frequents my videos. You might always hear, or you might often hear, like meowing in the background, and or a little jingle bell, which is his collar. He's just a little attention bug, and he needs lots of love and pats and kisses. Thank you, Heifer. Okay, go play. Okay, so I have some good progress, some exciting progress to share with you this month. You may notice from my last video that I have new work on the design wall, and that is because I have finished the quilt's top that was previously up there. And not only did I finish that quilt top, I finished another quilt top. So I have 2 quilt top finishes to share with you today, which is super exciting. And then some progress on my whips, a lot of haul. I kind of went bananas with the haul this month, both in Quilter's Corner and in FlossTube. Like, my bank account is not happy with me right now, but well. So let's get into what I worked on. So the my first quilt top finish that I'm going to show you was the one that was up here last month. That is this quilt here. This is called Bauhaus by Zen Chic. And it is this modern geometric quilt that I just, I don't normally look at like geometric stuff like this and think ooh ah, but for some reason this one really caught my interest, and so I decided I wanted to do this one. It was my first attempt at stitching curves, and it actually was, I'd always heard that it was easier than it looks or sounds. I just never attempted it before, and in fact it is easier than it looks. I mean, it still takes a little bit of effort, but it wasn't as bad as I kind of thought it would be. So I finished this quilt top, and I'm going to insert a picture of the finished quilt top on my design wall because I obviously don't have it there. I am so pleased with how this turned out. It looks fantastic. The fabric that I used is the stripes and dots from the neon line Tula Pink just released called Everglow. I bought a fat quarter bundle of her line, and I pulled out those 2 geometric patterns because I thought they'd be perfect with a geometric pattern. And then I purchased, the background fabric is a solid called washed black. It's not like a pure black, it's a little bit more faded, which I think kind of is a better complement to the more pastel-y neons. And the effect is exactly what I was going for. I wanted it to look like a black light. It was kind of backlighting it, if that makes sense. And it's exactly what I saw in my head. It looks so cool. So here it is, all folded up on my hanger. It's ready to be sent to, well, almost ready to be sent to my long armor because I don't have the back yet. The backing. So I had a comment from a previous video, a genius idea from a viewer who suggested that I get some yardage of the animal prints in the Everglow line and kind of piece a back together, almost patchwork style. and use that as the backing. So that way, whenever I get it quilted, it's kind of like a reversible quilt, which I think is genius. I don't remember who gave me that suggestion. If you're watching right now, thank you so much. That was a brilliant idea, and it's exactly what I'm going to do. So I have not yet purchased the yardage to piece together the backing for this, but that will be coming shortly. Here, let me kind of, I don't want to totally unfold it, but you can kind of see just how vibrant and bright these neons are. And I just love how it turned out. Guys, it looks so good. So, once I get the backing and I get that piece together, of course, I will show you that. And then it's gonna go into the closet for long arm, to await the long arm appointment. I think I actually only have one more long arm appointment this year, unless my long armor calls me and says she has a cancellation. So I don't know, we'll see. So it may be a minute before this is a fully finished quilt to show you guys, but I just wanted to share the quilt top with you because obviously that has been my latest finish. I mean, just like, look how vibrant. I love it so much. If I actually hit this with a black light, I'm sure it would look amazing. I don't have a black light. I might invest. I think my mom does actually, like a black light flashlight. So maybe I'll borrow that from her. I think that'd be cool to show. As far as how I'm gonna quilt it, I have no idea. I don't know if there's any sort of neon quilting thread. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll do white so it shows up really bright. I have no idea. We'll see. But Bauhaus is done. I will say that I did make a little bit of a change. So the original quilt pattern has this, I think it's like an 8-inch, like it's a pretty big border of background fabric. And I did not add that. I just did the blocks. The finished size with the border is 81 by 81, and I think the finished size without it, 64, I think. I know it's like 64, 65. I measured it, and it's around 64 inches square, which is, you know, a lap size quilt. I often do 60 by 60 lap size quilts because I love the perfect square of that. So I just elected to leave the border off and do just the blocks. So now that this is done, I've got the paper cutouts in here that I used for the round shapes, but I can use this in a giveaway if somebody is interested. Anybody might want to attempt it, I could definitely do this in a giveaway. This was a really easy pattern, believe it or not. The next quilt top I finished is just a mini quilt. I had shown that I was working on it last update just for practice, and that's my One Block Wonder quilt. And I had a lovely viewer reach out to me via email saying that she wanted to buy it for me. She's got a grandbaby on the way, and she thought it would make a really pretty baby quilt. She just wanted it to be a little bit bigger than it was when I showed it. So her name is PJ. I will be tagging her in this video. I don't believe she has a channel that she like posts videos on, but I will be tagging her just because. And so I finished that. And PJ, I want you to tell me what you think, if you still want this or not. It's not gonna hurt my feelings if you change your mind. But I made it a little bit bigger for you. I evened out the edges. So what I did was, rather than leave it as a hexagon shape on the top, I trimmed off the tops of the hexagons and then stitched them to the bottom of the other side. Actually, this is the side where I trimmed it, and then stitched them to the bottom of the other side. So these bits, these little triangles got stitched. So it became a straight edge rectangle. And I have this fabric from Juicy Juice, in like a goldenrod yellow and a nice purple that complemented the colors in the middle quite well, I think. She stated that she would like to purchase this just as a quilt top that she could get finished, but again, PJ, I don't mind quilting this for you if you would like. And then the finished size, I did not write it down. I will insert it on the screen because I need to measure this again. I don't remember. I think it's something like 43 by 35 or something like that. So it's crib size, which is what she wanted with the additions of the borders. But yeah, this was just meant to be practice for the One Block Wonder quilt. I had purchased this fabric here, the large golden red poppy fabric that I wanted to do a really big version of the quilt with. So I practiced with this one. So yeah, I finished this quilt top. And again, PJ, I'm gonna respond to your email, but you can also comment down below if you're watching this. Let me know what you think about the additions of these borders, if you like them or not. If you change your mind, that's totally fine. If not, this will be going to her. And if she decides she doesn't want it after all, then I will quilt it and donate it probably, because it's just a fun little quilt. This was so easy to do. And you can find a million tutorials on YouTube about how to do One Block Wonders. It's just, you take 6 panels or 6 versions of the same print, same fabric, layer them on top of each other and line them up kind of precisely, and then cut them into strips, and then cut those strips into 60 degree triangles, and so then you'll have 6 triangles of the same, and then you lay them out kind of circular, and they create this kaleidoscope looking effect with the blocks. And then you stitch half of the hexagon together and then this half, and then when you lay it out, you stitch the rows together, and then you have a straight edge to stitch all the rows. I hope that made sense. That was a very terrible way to explain it, but that's how you create a One Block Wonder quilt. Also, PJ did ask me in that email conversation that we had where I like to buy my fabrics online, since I don't know if she doesn't have a local quilt shop. I think that's what she said, but I also no longer have a local quilt shop. The one that I had been going to closed down, unfortunately. The owner retired, so all of my fabric, unless it comes from Joann's, is coming from online. So my quilt shops that my online fabric stores and quilt shops that I typically purchase from are going to be Fat Quarter Shop. I'm from Texas, and Fat Quarter Shop is based, I think, out of Dallas. So whenever I buy from them, it ships to me super fast. So, and obviously they have a huge selection. So we got Fat Quarter Shop. I like to shop at Missouri Star Quilt Company. I shop at Stash Fabrics, Hawthorne Supply Company I've purchased from, and then Quilter. Quilter's another great one to get just a wide selection. We've been shopping, my mom and we've been shopping from Quilter for decades. So I will have all of those shops linked down below. So if you are looking to branch out from Fat Quarter Shop, or just kind of shop around to see what else is out there, I will have all of those linked down below. So I did work on a couple of other whips, as you can see behind me. First and foremost, I did some more girls from my cocktail hour quilt. I will insert a picture here of the quilt. This is called Cocktail Hour. It is a free pattern designed by Tilda of Tilda's World. I will have it linked down below. And she has it stitched up using her own fabric, Tilda's own fabric. I am not using Tilda's fabric. I am using my favorite designer's fabric, which is Anna Maria Horner. And this is her line called Fluent. I bought a fat quarter bundle of that line, and then I have just various solids that I'm using for the skin and the hair. I'm doing different skin tones on my ladies. The original pattern just calls for one skin tone, but I wanted to switch it up. And then the color of the hair, I'm matching to, like, I'm pulling from a color from one of their dresses that they're wearing. So the last time that I showed this progress, I had stitched this block over. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new girls to show you. So I can pull them down so I can show you up close. So first I've got this little lady here. Look at that fabric, isn't that fantastic? I just love it. So for her hair color, she's got like this kind of brick orange color that I pulled out from hers. And then of course the fabric on the top behind their heads is meant to be from the cocktail dress of the girl above them. Next I've got this little lady, and she's got some grass green hair that matches her flowers. Lovely, lovely. And then right below this one with the green flowers and the blue flowers is this lady. And this is I think this is my favorite one so far. I really love the way she turned out. This fabric is so pretty with the cream color and like the bright pink. So she's got this beautiful bright pink hair, and I love that her skin tone, this was unintentional, I just randomly grabbed one. But I love that her skin tone kind of matches the fabric as well. She's just very matchy-matchy. Looks good. All right, and then next at the top of the fabric, at the top of the quilt, I've got this big dress. So you can see the girls are like staggered. So some of the rows have like a really short dress at the top, kind of behind them, or like a short block. And then some are like this that have like a really long block that's meant to be the dress of a girl that you don't see the head for, because this is the top edge of the pattern. And then she is another beautiful one. I love this color purple. This fabric almost looks like it's glowing. I love how good the bright orange and the bright purple look together on this kind of darker print. She looks so cute. That one. And then lastly, right below her is this little lady with this beautiful pink patchwork dress with the bright yellow roses. And I got her kind of goldenrod hair color from those flowers. What's this little lady? I just love it. I love I'm not pre-planning like where each fabric goes. Like I'm just looking at what's on the wall and looking at my stack of fat quarters and just kind of pulling where I think they would look good. So I'm kind of just improvising as I go. And then as I pull a fabric with the intention of making the cocktail dress, then I'll go pull a color to match for their hair, and I'll just randomly select one of the skin tones. So currently there's 6 columns up here. The quilt top is 7 columns wide. So there's gonna be 1 more column of ladies. And then after that, I just have to start working down. So Tilda's quilt Cocktail Hours is gonna live up here for a while. You'll probably see it for the next couple of updates, because I'm just working on a few of them at a time instead of like trying to finish it all together. But I needed the space because obviously I've got more ladies than I have room for on my little mini design wall that's over on this side. But I just love how this is turning out. I really love the choice to switch it out for AMH fabrics. The reason why Anna Maria Horner is one of my favorite designers, if not my favorite, is they're so bright and vibrant and eclectic, and I just want to like crawl inside of her fabrics and live there and like exist within that world. if you get it, like, you know what I mean? Like they're just so whimsical and fun, and they look like like the inside of Alice in Wonderland. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I'm gonna keep working on that quilt for a while, get all the way across to the 7th column, and then see how far down I can go. So each column is 4 girls tall, if that makes sense. Like there's 4 heads, plus the ones that are in the background. So in theory, once I have 2 on this side, I will be halfway done with that quilt top, right? Because I will have 2 girls in each column, and then there's 2 more at the bottom to do. Alrighty, moving right along. The other whip that I worked on is this one here. This is a sampler called Christmas Potpourri. This pattern is no longer available. It was designed and sold from a local quilt shop in Friendswood, Texas, where I no longer live. The shop is no longer open. They designed it as a block of the month Christmas sampler, and I was feeling like I really wanted to create a sampler, and my mother had created the Christmas version of this quilt and saved the pattern from all those years ago, all the different 12 different patterns, because they came out as block of the month. And so I am borrowing this and recreating it in my own special way. And so you may notice behind me that my pattern is clearly not a Christmas sampler. So I was feeling like I wanted to do a sampler. I don't know what, I just caught a wild hair and decided I wanted to do one, but I really, like, I knew I wanted to do it in like super bright, neon, vibrant, like color vomit scraps. It's not actually scraps, like I actually did pull colors from my stash for this, but I wanted it to be like a ridiculous amount of bright colors to give that scrappy look. Last time I showed this quilt, I had finished this block here. This is the first one. Oops. Up here in this corner, and then I have now done this block. So the different blocks, there's 12 of them obviously, and they're hard to see. There's one, there's that one, and then there's that one. So it's 3 by 4, and the blocks include this half square triangle border, and then the patchy border on the outside is just gonna be added at the end. And my mom suggested that at the end, when I have this completed, I show you a side-by-side comparison of her Christmas sampler and then my neon vomit sampler. I know that's a terrible title for it, but I don't know what else to call it, because it's just like, it looks like scrappy, bright hodgepodge, and that's exactly what I was going for. And it's just a great example of how you can take a pattern that is obviously the same pattern, completely use different fabrics, and they look like 2 polar opposite quilts, even though they're the same quilt. So here's a close-up of the block that I did. I am doing this almost like kind of leaning towards like an I Spy, but not really, quilts. So I've got some blocks that I have been like fussy cutting, so you can see fun little things in there. So like in the middle of this little block, we've got the rainbow, and then there's a gold moon, and we got the roses, and there's a duck here, hand, giraffe. We've got the hippo with the crane on it. We've got, so all the cheetahs there, or leopards in the middle of the yellow blocks. There's mushrooms. Yes, they're upside down, but so are the flying geese. Skulls. There's a little spider web, a smiley face. Like, just a ton of fun little things. There's little bunny rabbits here. In this block, you've got like little lightning bolts, little arrows, just so much fun stuff. And this is exactly what I wanted. I love it. So I've got a lot of Tula Pinks, the rest of that Everglow line that I didn't use, the rest of the 2, like I've got them in here, the stripes and the dots, they're right there. as well as the animal prints, and then the other ones that have the birds and the stars on them, I put into this fabric stash to use. So there's that giraffe right there is from the Everglow line, and then that hippo and crane is from the Everglow line, and they are perfect for this. Exactly what I was looking for. Just love it. So, ideally I will have block number 3 over here done before the next update. These actually do take like a hot minute to put together because you do it in, you know, small sections, and I'm just pulling fabrics as I'm going and then trying to make sure, you know, I don't have like too much green in one section or too much of whatever color in one section. And then additionally, the pattern is handwritten, well, hand typed, by somebody who worked at that quilt shop, and they did a terrible job because they left out steps and they don't give you dimensions of like the individual pieces. So I have to kind of stop and math it out. The block unfinished is an 18.5-inch block. So I have to break it down in sections to make sure that the pieces that I'm making are measuring the correct size, because those measurements are not included in the pattern. And the way they designed it uses as little fabric as possible. So for like all these half square triangles, they tell you to cut out, you know, a square and then cut it in half on the diagonal and then stitch it back together. And I don't like to do that. I mean, I don't like to stitch on the bias like that, but they're doing that to conserve fabric. So you'll take those 2 triangles and use them in different places. Whereas when I make a half square triangle or a flying geese block, I'll cut a rectangle and I'll cut squares, put them on the corners, sew them on the diagonal, and then trim off the excess. So you end up, you know, with bits like this cut off that is fabric waste. But I have the fabric to do that. Like I'm not getting, I don't have a predetermined fabric that came in the kit like my mom did. You know what I mean? I'm using fabric from my stash. So I'm kind of like having to figure things out as I go, as I'm piecing this together. So it's not for the faint of heart. If you're a newer quilter, this would probably be really difficult to figure out, even though the blocks themselves are not that hard, if that makes sense. But regardless, I am really enjoying doing it. Like when I was making this block, I just put on a Netflix show and I was just watching that, and then, you know, like I pieced together like the churn dash here, and then I did all the flying geese, and then these 2 squares I did as its own little section, and then I did this like pinwheel. It's kind of a pinwheel block, so you know what I mean. And then I just make sure they all measured correctly and then stitch them all together, and there you have it. So it's very relaxing, very fun. And I'm really enjoying, like the same that I'm doing with this quilt, I'm really enjoying just kind of improvising as I go instead of going in it with like a plan. It's a lesson in sort of letting go and like leaning into the creative process, as opposed to having like a strict set of like rules and regulations to go by. And I find that it's making the process of quilting that much more enjoyable for me to just be a little bit loosey-goosey with how I'm doing it. I hope that makes sense. I know there's some people out there that are like, it's just impossible for them to do that. They would look at a quilt like this and sit down and plan out each block and where each individual fabric goes and have stacks and everything ordered and labeled. And I've done quilting like that before, and it tends to add another layer of stress for me. So I'm really enjoying the process of just kind of like figuring out as I go along. I think that's a little bit more enjoyable for me, because it's kind of like doing a puzzle, and I love doing puzzles. So kind of just you know, making it up as I go along has been really enjoyable. So if you find quilting stressful, maybe try that method of just going into it without an actual like solid plan and just seeing what comes out, you know what I mean? Okay, so that was all of the projects that I worked on this month. That was a good chunk. You know, I finished 2 quilt tops. I did a lot of blocks for Tilda, cocktail hour, and then I did this bad boy. So the next bit I want to show you is all of the haul that I got, and I did get a good chunk. And then we'll go over plans and we'll say goodbye. So for whatever reason, I went a little bit ham on Missouri Star's website, and I just bought like a ton of patterns, and then I also bought like more on Etsy. So I'm gonna show you just a bunch of patterns, and if I've enabled you to buy any of them, I apologize, but not really. I'll have them all linked down below for easy purchasing. Okay, so the first one I bought is this one here. This one is called Dawn on the Prairie. And this is by Fancy That Design House. And it's almost like a band sampler, if you can imagine. I just think it's super cute. I don't have any fabric lines. I don't have any fabric lines in mind for most of the fabrics, or I'm sorry, most of the patterns that I'm going to show you today, except for one, and I'll show that one at the end. So there's that one, Dawn on the Prairie. Next is this one. This is really fun. This is called Deco by Lo and Behold Stitchery. Very pretty. So I actually have in my stash a couple of Art Deco fabrics that I haven't really figured out what to do with. And so I saw this and I was like, first of all, that's beautiful. And it might be an excellent pattern to use my Art Deco themed fabric, right? Matches up perfectly. This is the next one. This is called Pineberry by Pen and Paper Patterns. It's a lot of alliteration there. It's very cute. I mean, obviously it looks like strawberries, and you got a bunch of those cute little flowers in there. When I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a bunch of like different colored berries. Like I might not do it the way they did it with a bunch of different pinks. I don't know. We'll see how it comes out whenever I get to it. And I like the idea of all those little white flowers being different colors too. I mean, clearly I'm not afraid of color. So whenever possible, I'm probably going to make it as varied and as vibrant as I can. That's my MO. This next one is a fun one. It's going to be something new for me. This is called This is called 70 and Sunny, or Sunny Rays, by So Kind of Wonderful. And this takes a special, this takes a special couple of rulers that are listed there at the top. So obviously my first foray into curved piecing went pretty well, so I wanted to try something a little bit more advanced, which is this here. And then the cool thing about this pattern is there's several different layouts of it, right? So there's this one, like you see on the front, there's all these different fans, and then you can lay them out with the points pointing inward, and they make these kind of starburst flower shapes. And then there's this one that's really stacked, kind of cool. So there's options there that I think are pretty fantastic. I don't know which one I like. I think I like this one best, but I don't know. We'll see when I get to it. This next one is called Tabitha by Swirly Girls. I liked this one because it's very modern, and I do enjoy a modern print. And I love the sort of mirrored effect in the middle with those different rectangles in rectangles. And as you can see, it is fat quarter friendly. So this will be a good one if there was a line that you liked and you wanted to buy a fat quarter bundle. You could do Tabitha with that fat quarter bundle. This next one is also from Pen and Paper Patterns, and this is called Hello Spring. And it's got ladybugs and flowers on it. And I'm going to show you the back because they have multiple layouts as well. So there's a large and a small version of the sort of mixed pattern, and then you can do, I mean, it's not pictured here, but you can do one that's all ladybugs, and presumably, and you can do one like this that's all flowers. And again, this would be a good one to make as like bright and colorful and scrappy as my heart desires. And I think the ladybugs are so cute. Love it. This last pattern that I got from Missouri Star, all of these I've purchased from Missouri Star. There's the other patterns that I got from Etsy. I'll show you in a bit. This last pattern that I got from Missouri Star, I actually did get fabric to go with it, so I'll show you that right after I show you the pattern. If you're not following Missouri Star Quilt Company's YouTube channel, it's a great channel to follow. It's not every Friday. I think it's every third Friday of the month, maybe. They do a video called a triple play, which is where the three ladies of Missouri Star they design 3 different quilts based on a theme. So this one was, and I don't actually remember off the top of my head what this latest video's theme was, but they all did kind of Halloween themed quilts around a specific block that they were I don't remember. Anyways, Misty did this quilt here, which is called Stars Hollow, which is a 10-inch square friendly quilt, and I thought it was super cute, super fun. I will not be doing it as a Halloween quilt. I found a different fabric line that I'm going to use, so I also purchased a layer cake of that and some additional yardage for the border. So let me show you that. So if you are familiar with me, you know that I love moths. And so I saw this line from Andover and immediately had to get it. So this is called Moonlit Garden. And you guys look at this Luna moth. So I'm just gonna flip through some of these fabrics here. There are these beautiful greens, these like leafy, floral, kind of chartreuse greens and limey greens. And there's some teals, turquoisey colors, all florals, and these moth prints. And then my favorite thing about this is that the complementary color to these greens is this sort of salmony coral color. And that's always been one of my favorite color combinations, is like a lime green and coral. So there's some kind of limey yellows, and then the corally pinks that I love. Look at this version of the moth. Isn't that stunning? And some beautiful creams. So I know that was kind of a fast little flip through, but I'll insert a picture of the full fabric line so you can kind of get a better idea of what it actually looks like. But I bought the layer cake to use in Misty's quilt, the Stars Hollow. And then for the border that's going around the edge, of course, I bought the big Luna moth. I love Luna moths. This is so beautiful. If you are new here, there was a period in the spring where moths kept frequently visiting my front door. Randomly, I don't know why. They weren't going to my neighbor's front door. They were just coming to visit me. And so I thought it was a blessing from the universe. And the best part is this moth here came to visit me. This is an actual real Luna moth, and it hung out on the lamp in front of my front door all day. I just thought it was so beautiful, and I felt just completely touched by nature. So of course I bought the Luna moth fabric to go with this quilt. So the last the last thing that I have to show you here is I bought a couple of patterns on Etsy from So Fresh Quilts is the name of the shop, and I'll have that link down below. So I had this first pattern that I am going to show you sent to me multiple times by my mom, by a couple viewers. They all messaged me on Instagram and was like, look at this pattern, it's perfect for you. And they were right. So I bought it. And that's this one here. This is called Cat Holes. You guys, look at this pattern. It's cats showing their third eye. It's kind of like lowbrow humor, which is obviously right up my alley. And it's cats, and I love cats. So of course I bought it, and I'm so excited to make this. But after I purchased this pattern, So Fresh Quilts sent me a coupon as a thank you to get a percentage off. I don't remember, like 10-15% if I purchased 3 or more additional patterns. So I was like, say less. So I went and bought some patterns, and I even bought one for my mom, because I thought, you know, if I'm getting that many patterns, I'll get one for her. So this is the one I got for my mom. I don't have it here to show you because it was for her, not for me. And that one is called MCM Mid-Century Modern Couch Potato. She loves mid-century stuff, and so she wanted the couch potato pattern. And then the other ones that I got 2 other ones. This is the first one here. This one is called Squirrels and Mushrooms. Squirrels and Mushrooms. And I love that she offers like 2 different sizes in her quilt patterns. The reason why I really enjoy this shop, like she has a ton of them that I just love. Her pattern style is very reminiscent of Elizabeth Hartman. And I hope she doesn't resent that comparison. But I adore Elizabeth Hartman. She's one of my favorite designers. I've shown her patterns that I've collected in previous videos. And that's exactly what her style reminds me of. This sort of like pieced collage of little things, little critters and things, couches. So this one has all these little squirrels, which I think are so cute. And then the mushrooms, of course, love a mushroom. This one's really cute because it actually, you can see it's a bunch of Tula Pink fabrics that she used for the tails and the mushrooms, which is cute. And then this other one that I got is called Cat House. And it's got kitties in the windows, which is so cute. Love it. My cat loves to lay in the window in the morning because the sun shines in on the windowsill, and then I have like a blackout curtain that he lays behind, so it like traps all the heat in there, and he gets so warm and cozy. He loves to, and then he'll come find me and I'll pet him, and he feels like a little furnace because he gets so warm from laying in the sunshine. So yeah, there's Cat House. Love it. Super cute. That's it. That's all. I told you I went crazy with the pattern buying. I don't know. I just wanted, I don't need them, of course. I have a bajillion patterns, but why should that stop me from buying them? So let's go over plans real quick. I'm going to keep working on Tilda Cocktail Hour to see how far I get. At least the 7th column started, and then we'll see how far down towards the base of the pattern I get. I want to do the 3rd block of this block of the month sampler. Y'all need to help me come up with a name for it because I can't call it Christmas Potpourri. It's not a Christmas quilt. And I think the names that I've come up with it are kind of inappropriate because I've been calling it my Acid Trip sampler and my Neon Vomit sampler. So, I mean, what do you guys think? What should I call it? Those are the 2 things I've been calling it, and you know, if that's what y'all see whenever you see this, like I see it, then maybe we'll call it one of those two. But anyways, I would like to come up with a name and then just work on the third block here. I need to get the backing fabric for my Bauhaus quilts, the rest of that Tilda Everglow line. I'm sorry, Tula Pink Everglow line. So that can be ready to go in my closet for my long armor. PJ, I'm gonna reach out to you via email to see what you think about the finished quilt top and if you still want to go forward with buying that. And then those are the only like hard plans that I want to make. I want to give myself a little wiggle room to start another quilt if I want to kit up another quilt if I want to. Maybe I'll work on my English paper piece project. Maybe I won't. I don't know. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, which I know was a mouthful. If you have any questions about anything you've seen, I will have as much as humanly possible linked in the description. And I will see you guys again at the end of September. I have a trip I'm going on in the beginning of October, but I still will have time to film before I leave for that trip. I'll be gone for a long weekend. And so yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have an excellent September. We're finally moving out of this stupid, long, ridiculous, hot summer and into fall. Thank God. So I hope you have a good start to your school year. If you are a teacher or if you have kids going to school, I hope you have a good start to the autumn season. Happy quilting, happy stitching, happy creating. I wish you all of the good creative juices and vibes, and I will catch up with you guys again in a month. Bye.